The Bloodline's most legendary tag team just turned the entire WWE Universe upside down by defending the man the Bloodline was built to destroy. The Usos stood beside Cody Rhodes, and Paul Heyman's face said everything words never could. Explosive sound effect, crowd eruption at maximum volume, host on feet, visibly stunned, hands on head. Nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. The Usos, Cody Rhodes, standing together on Raw, while Paul Heyman watched in absolute, complete, total shock. This changes everything. Suplex Rumble intro explodes, high energy, maximum impact. Suplex Rumble Nation, what is up? I am your host, and I am going to be completely transparent with you right now. When this moment happened live on Raw, I had to rewind it 3 times just to confirm that my eyes were telling me the truth. Because what the Usos did on Monday night was so unexpected, so dramatically powerful, and so rich with emotional and historical context that it deserves every single minute of the breakdown we are about to deliver. The Usos attacked the Vision. They defended Cody Rhodes. And Paul Heyman, the most calculating, most composed, most unshakable mind in professional wrestling management, stood there with an expression that told you everything you needed to know about how thoroughly this moment destroyed every plan he thought was in place. Subscribe if you are new, hit that notification bell, and drop a comment right now on a scale of 1 to 10, how shocked were you when the Usos made their move? Let's go! To feel the full, overwhelming, almost incomprehensible weight of what the Usos did on Raw, we need to travel back through the history that built the road to this exact moment. Because great professional wrestling moments are never random. They are the culmination of chapters written across months and years of storytelling investment. The Usos, Jimmy and G, are arguably the greatest tag team of their generation. Full stop. The case is not close. The longevity, the championship reigns, the in-ring excellence, the character evolution from beloved babyface duo to the most dominant and menacing bloodline enforcers in recent WWE memory. It is a career arc that belongs in the conversation of the greatest tag team stories ever told in this industry. Their journey within the Bloodline is its own masterclass in professional wrestling storytelling. The transformation, the loyalty, the moments where cracks appeared and were papered over, the genuine emotional complexity of being simultaneously the most powerful tag team in WWE and the most conflicted individuals within a faction that demanded absolute obedience. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, represents everything on the other side of that equation. The man who left WWE to prove himself to the world, who built himself into a global professional wrestling force across multiple continents and multiple promotions, who came back to WWE with a mission statement so clear, so emotionally resonant, so personally meaningful that the entire WWE Universe adopted it as their own. Finish the story. Complete the dream. Claim what your family's legacy always deserved. The collision between Cody Rhodes' American Dream pursuit and the Bloodline's stranglehold on WWE's power structure produced some of the most emotionally loaded professional wrestling of the modern era. And the Usos were always at the center of that conflict as the Bloodline's most reliable weapon against everything Cody represented. Which is exactly why what happened on Raw hit like an absolute thunderbolt. Before we get to the attack itself, let's establish exactly who the Vision is and why their targeting of Cody Rhodes set the stage for the Usos' extraordinary intervention. The Vision represents one of the most dangerous and deliberately constructed factions currently operating on Monday Night Raw. Their identity is built on the concept of seeing the future of WWE clearly and systematically eliminating every obstacle between themselves and that future. Calculated, coordinated, relentless in their pursuit of dominance. Their decision to target Cody Rhodes specifically was not arbitrary. Cody Rhodes is the standard. He is the measuring stick. He is the name that every rising force in WWE measures themselves against, because defeating him or destroying him represents the clearest possible statement of arrival at the top of this industry. The attack on Cody was vicious in the way that the Vision does everything methodically and with maximum impact. Multiple members working in coordinated fashion. The isolation of a single target. The kind of professional, almost clinical assault that leaves no doubt about the group's capabilities or their intentions. It was in the middle of this chaos, with Cody Rhodes in genuine peril and the Vision operating with terrifying efficiency, that the arena suddenly heard a sound that nobody expected and everybody immediately recognized. The Usos were here. And they were not here to watch. The moment the Usos appeared, the immediate, instinctive, electric crowd reaction told the story before a single punch was thrown. Because the WWE Universe understood, in that split second of recognition, that this was not a scheduled appearance. This was not a planned alliance being officially unveiled with all the ceremony and production value of a major faction announcement. This was the Usos making a choice. A real, consequential, potentially irreversible choice driven not by authority, not by instruction, not by bloodline loyalty calculations, but by something more fundamental and more human than any of those considerations. Jimmy and G hit that ring with the kind of urgency and intensity that you only generate when something genuinely matters to you personally. The assault on the Vision was immediate and overwhelming. The Usos in full flight, operating with the synchronized, instinctive coordination of two people who have fought beside each other their entire lives, dismantled the Vision's calculated assault with the kind of raw, emotionally fueled aggression that technical precision simply cannot prepare for. The crowd was in absolute delirium. The noise in that arena was the kind of spontaneous, genuine, building-shaking roar that only happens when a live audience witnesses something they had not dared to hope for and suddenly finds it materializing in front of their eyes. And then the dust settled enough for the image to crystallize. The Usos, standing over the fallen members of the Vision. Cody Rhodes beside them, looking at Jimmy and G with an expression that mixed shock, gratitude, and the dawning recognition that something fundamental had just shifted in the WWE landscape. 3 men, standing in that ring together, united by a choice nobody scripted and nobody predicted. The arena stayed loud for a very, very long time. Now let's talk about the person whose reaction made this moment even more extraordinary than it already was. Paul Heyman, the special counsel, the self-proclaimed wisest man in all of professional wrestling. A manager, a promoter, a creative force, and a performer whose ability to express complex emotional and strategic calculations through facial expression and body language alone is genuinely one of the most underrated performance skills in WWE history. Paul Heyman watched the Usos make their choice from a position that made his reaction impossible to hide and impossible to misread. The shock was real, not the theatrical, performative shock of a heel manager playing to the crowd. The genuine, system-crashing, this was not in any plan shock of a man whose intricate understanding of bloodline dynamics and power relationships just got completely invalidated by two people he thought he understood completely. Watch the progression of Heyman's expression across those moments if you have not already, because it is a masterclass in nonverbal storytelling. The initial disbelief. The rapid mental calculation as the brain tries to process what the eyes are reporting. The recognition that this is real and not reversible. The dawning understanding of exactly how many plans, how many carefully constructed strategies, how many long-game manipulations just became significantly more complicated in the span of 60 seconds. Paul Heyman's face on Raw was worth 1,000 promos. It told us everything we needed to know about the stakes of what the Usos had just done, not just for the immediate moment but for the entire power structure of WWE going forward. When Paul Heyman is genuinely shocked, the wrestling world should pay very close attention to why. Because what shocks Paul Heyman is, almost by definition, significant. Let's step back and honor this moment from a pure professional wrestling storytelling perspective, because what Raw delivered here deserves to be recognized as genuinely excellent creative work. The beauty of the Usos defending Cody Rhodes is that it works on every single level simultaneously. On the emotional level, it delivers the satisfaction of a long overdue realignment for two characters whose bloodline journey created enormous amounts of internal conflict and audience investment. The WWE Universe has wanted to see the Usos freed from the constraints of bloodline loyalty for a long time. And the specific choice of Cody Rhodes as the catalyst for that freedom is perfectly selected, because Cody represents the exact opposite of everything that bloodline affiliation costs the Usos. On the strategic level, it completely reshapes the power dynamics of Raw in a single moment. The Usos aligned with Cody Rhodes is not a minor roster development. It is a tectonic shift. Two of the most accomplished tag team performers in modern WWE history adding their considerable capabilities to the side of the American Nightmare changes every calculation every faction and every individual on that roster needs to make. On the character development level, it represents the most meaningful evolution in the Usos story since the original Bloodline formation. Characters grow through choices. The Usos made a choice on Raw that nobody could make for them, nobody could undo for them, and nobody could diminish the significance of. That is character development delivered through action, the most powerful form it takes in professional wrestling. And on the pure entertainment level, it produced one of the loudest, most authentic, most joyful crowd moments Raw has generated all year. And joyful crowd moments are precious. They are worth protecting and celebrating every time they occur. Prediction time. Suplex Rumble Nation. This is a big one. Scorecards ready. Prediction 1: the alliance becomes official. Within 2 Raw episodes, the Usos and Cody Rhodes formalize their alliance in a segment that gives the WWE Universe the promo moment they are desperately craving. 3 microphones, 3 extraordinary performers, and a declaration that sends